Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear friends, I feel very honored by the invitation of the rector of Teiresias National Academy to participate in this international conference. I still can remember those very dramatic moments when the Russian invasion in Ukraine started and we decided to conclude a written agreement between Maastricht University and Teiresias National Academy. We had to proceed in the middle of the war, and I am glad to say that we succeeded. I admire the heroism of the Ukrainian citizens who are fighting in these days the stronger enemy, and I admire the enthusiasm of our colleagues, Ukrainian academicians, who are organizing this international conference in the middle of that war. Professor Olhak Lopota, who has been appointed responsible person for the fulfillment of the written agreement between Maastricht University and Teiresias National Academy, asked me to share our experience in the field of inclusive education. I prefer to start with a short introduction of Maastricht University itself. It is a university founded in 1919 with 10 faculties and approximately 30,000 students. As far as the inclusive education is concerned, the services for students with special needs are committed to support center, which has been founded more than 20 years ago. And I'm going to speak about this center and to describe its role, its position, and its experience. The center, formally founded in 2000 by the Academic Senate of Maastricht University, is a central body. It means that it does not belong to any of the faculties of Maastricht University. And its role and mission is to coordinate methodological activities, which means, first of all, to ensure universal design for learning and individual adjustments for persons with special needs. The Teiresias Center provides practical services for several groups. It is not just the persons with disabilities. The target group are, first of all, persons with special needs themselves. But this means that we start with applicants who are obviously not students, then the students themselves, teachers, administrative staff, and other people who might be involved in the teaching and research process. Then the second group are the teachers, administrative and other staff who belong to the mainstream in terms of having no special needs, but who need to cooperate or to communicate with the previous groups. The center is organized by sections, or if you prefer, by departments. It's a relatively big team of more than 40 internal employees dedicated to providing services for students with special needs. And in addition to the director's office or the management, there is study section or study department as a key part of the center. And then we proceed towards the special IT section, library and publishing section, visual communication section, and physical accessibility section. In the next slide, I will explain what is the role of each of those sections. It is indicated by colors in this scheme or the slide, so that in the left upper corner you can see the role of the study section. It is basically a group of pedagogical counselors whose role is very clear to all those who organize services at any university. In my opinion, there is no need to describe more specifically what a pedagogical counselor does at university. I'm just pointing to the fact that from the perspective of Teiresias Center, it is just a part of what we are doing. It is a key part, but just a part of it. Then we proceed towards the two environments of Maastricht University, of any university if you wish. Is the physical environment and a virtual environment. Originally, much more attention was paid to the physical environment. It means accessibility of buildings. Nowadays, we can see that it is not the key point after all, and during the pandemic situation, the physical environment played actually no role at all, and much more importance was given to the virtual environment of the university. It was for us not a new situation, because we since the beginning are looking at the two environments as two basic situations should be solved in the same way, so that we were not surprised by that. Since the beginning, we consider physical environment to be as important as the virtual one. It means that in addition to looking after the buildings and the areas of the campus, we also have to pay attention to the virtual campus, which is the information system of Maastricht University, the e-learning systems of it, and all those applications must have the same level of accessibility as the buildings themselves. That is why, in addition to the section of physical accessibility, we need the special IT section, whose role is to monitor accessibility of the information system of all applications, the software which is used at the university, and specifically to all special study rooms and teaching rooms which belong to the center. They do develop special applications for people with disabilities, and obviously they are doing the technical part of the counseling. So all counseling in the field of assistive technologies is organized by that section. In addition to that, you can see on the slide two columns indicating the two different channels of communication. On one side, a visual channel, mostly represented by visual documents, the printed documents, the books, textbooks, monographs, and also presentations, and so on. Our responsibility, obviously, is to look after the accessibility of all those visual documents to those who cannot use the visual channel, typically the blind, so that we have to ensure, first of all, that the primary source of information are accessible electronic documents. That's a very important information. At Maastricht University, a written document is never considered to be a primary source of or key part of communication or information. It is actually not allowed to proceed with the written documents, nor it is the case in the administration. The primary document is always electronic document, should be accessible according to international standards. And in specific cases, we offer tactile documents if needed, both texts and graphics and maps in tactile form. Much less we are doing with audio documents, but we also create video documents because they are needed for the communication of those who are deaf. With that, I proceed to last column, which is actually the opposite. The center is responsible for the accessibility of those who cannot use the audio channel and are dependent on the visual communication only. For that purpose, university is providing services in the field of sign language interpreting, all sorts of visualizing of the oral speech, starting with a silent oral language and in most cases speech to text service, or card service as American colleagues call it, or captioning if you prefer. So these are the key points of our approach, and we will be glad to share this experience with you. We offer our contacts, which you can see on the slide, and we will be very glad to stay in contact with you and share with you more details. Thank you for your attention.